From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your evening update.
Dennis's Heating and Air Conditioning is Northern California's premier heating and air conditioning contractor. From residential housing, large commercial projects, installation to repair, sheet metal fabrication, and everything in between, we are your go-to heating and air conditioning specialist.
Well, it's definitely beginning to warm up out there, and we're going to warm up just a tad more for tomorrow before we start to see another dip in our temperatures. We're also, in the end, kind of a long range here. We're seeing much less thunderstorm activity in the forecast. And I think about just a couple of days ago, I was saying, most of the thunderstorms are gone. Tomorrow, unfortunately, I think it's going to be another day that we've got to keep our eyes on when it comes to thunderstorms, especially in Trinity County and Del Norte County, Western Siskiyou County. There's going to be a lot of activity there. You'll see here in FutureCast here in a second. Once we get past Thursday, and I know I've said this before, but I think we're going to see a lot less activity, and we'll take a look at that here in FutureCast here in a second. But we do have cooler temperatures this week. As I mentioned, temperatures are warming up, but we're staying below 100 degrees, I think, for most of it. If we reach 100 this week, it will be tomorrow, but then after that, it drops again. No major heat waves in sight. The heat is off to the east. You've been hearing about the heat wave over the central and eastern United States. That heat's going to kind of migrate back in our direction, but not by much, because we got some cooler air that's going to prevent that from really building in. There's the smoke from the Smith River complex. It kind of basically just kind of spits out some smoke, and then it kind of shifts down a little bit to the south, but majority of the smoke is basically staying in Del Norte, Western Siskiyou, Northern Humboldt, and not to mention parts of Trinity County. And all we're really seeing is just a little bit of haze out there and just not much in the way of smoke. So that's going to be the overall trend that we're still seeing here based on the upper level wind patterns. And of course, a lot of that does depend on the overall activity coming from the fires. Here's what we have in store for us tonight. Temperatures mid 60s. And again, we're getting close to 100. If we touch 100 tomorrow, I wouldn't be surprised. But I think mainly in the mid to upper 90s for those highs, and for the mountains in the mid to upper 80s, maybe some 90-degree readings here. And tomorrow, this is when we could see thunderstorms. Now, especially out towards places like Susanville and Bernie. Now, as you head out towards Mount Shasta, the chances are going to be a bit slimmer, not to mention Etna, but Alturas could see some activity as well. But that's mainly going to be in the evening and overnight hours. Now, what we're looking at as our satellite image here is we've got a couple of storms off to our north. Got one, this is the cooler air. This right here is really what's going to prevent the heat from really building in from the east. All right, so let's talk about the chances for thunderstorms. Not today, of course. Today was a pretty nice day. Now, as we go into tomorrow, though, here we are at about 4 in the afternoon. Look at all this activity building in Trinity County. We're seeing a little bit of activity developing in in Modoc County. And this will kind of start to shift northward. Now, it's 7 p.m. tomorrow. It's making its way into northern Humboldt, so around Hoopa, Western Siskiyou County, and Del Norte. You'll notice not still a lot of activity off to the east, or even for central or eastern Siskiyou County. As we go into Thursday night 11, now we're seeing extreme eastern California, Alturas, Cedarville, maybe seeing some showers. But as you start heading west, those chances are going to be a bit slimmer. And you'll notice the activity for Del Norte County and elsewhere in that area are still looking at drier conditions at that point. Now, once this moves out on Friday, that's going to be it. So here you can see Friday, not even much in the way of cloud development here. So looking at mainly sunny skies here as we go into your Friday. Now look at the long range. And this is what I was talking about. As we go to Sunday, Monday, all the way through the end of next week, we're dry. Now, I am seeing this right here. This is the potential for some more monsoon moisture working its way up. In fact, you can see the clouds associated with that. So, by the end of next week, that next weekend, maybe some monsoon moisture coming in and at least giving the eastern mountains a chance for some thunderstorms. But that's a long ways out. Let's talk about the temperatures. So essentially, as long as we have this cooler air right here, that is going to prevent this heat from building in as strong as it would like to. But by the end of next week, that cooler air shifts off to the east, but we still have a little bit of a trough right here. This is some cooler air, if you will, but it's warm, but at least it's not going to be temperatures well over 100 degrees. In fact, we look at the 10-day trend, and what we're seeing here is a spike tomorrow. Temperatures start to drop, but as you can see, generally in the low to mid 90s through the upcoming weekend and through all of next week. No major heat waves, as I mentioned here. So here's what we have in store for us tonight. Mainly clear skies, even for the higher elevations. For tomorrow, what we're seeing here are those temperatures warming up a bit. Yeah, we're close to 100. Redding and Red Bluff up to about 98, 97 Chico and Oroville. Willow's about 96. If you're taking the higher elevations, mid to upper 80s, maybe around 90 for Weaverville and Hayfork. And your 7-day outlook, yeah, we've included the chance for thunderstorms here for Thursday. Now, as I mentioned, Mount Shasta City, as you head into central and eastern Siskiyou County, the chances are pretty slim all day Thursday and all night Thursday as well. But I'm keeping the chance in there. But Altura, Susanville, yeah, you could see some coming in the evening and overnight hours, but then it dries out after that. And it's dry through the weekend and even through at least the middle of next week, if not longer. Now, your 7-day forecast for the valley, of course, no showers, no thunderstorms. We see the spike in our temperatures tomorrow, but then those temperatures start to drop again. We're in the low 90s for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and in the mid 90s here as we take you into Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week.